Hey guys, me Dave. It's 12/17/2020, so I thought I'd do a video tonight. Tell you a little bit about my day. I've been getting nailed. I'm still getting nailed. Not right at this moment, but somebody asked me how I was getting hit and stuff like that. Mine is completely mind control program. I don't get tendonitis or tinnitus. I don't get burns. I don't get pains or anything like that. Mine is mind control, mostly. Somebody mentioned they get hit in the heart and they cover the heart with their hand or whatever, and it stops. When I've got hit when they gave me a heart attack, I showed the pictures on some of my other videos. None of my arteries had plaque in them. Just where they hit me. And it was a tightness in my chest, like somebody was sitting on my chest. It was really heavy. I had to call 911. They rushed me to the hospital in an ambulance, and you should have seen these guys work on me. There was a team of people there. I was a priority, and I got right in. They had me in surgery in probably 10-15 minutes, and they were doing all kinds of stuff. I don't know what they were doing, but they were doing ultrasounds and putting they put 2 IVs in me of nitro. They gave me nitro under the tongue. Didn't do anything. Nothing did anything. Was it a real heart attack? Well, according to the pictures, it was. But nothing worked. And they cut off. One of the arteries was completely cut off. They really worked on me there. But they had me in surgery in probably 10, 15, 20 minutes. I was up in surgery, and they put 2 stents in. And I was in the hospital for 3 days. And they kept me sleep deprived for 3 days. They kept me up. I was harassed by the nurses. They had a roommate for me. I was in intensive care for the first night. Then when they moved me out of intensive care, they moved me to the I don't know what you call it, the heart floor, and they had a perp for a roommate. He was perping me all night long, validating their technology. In my program they bang. They'll put a thought in my head and the perps will bang. He was doing that most of the night. He was up to. I spent 2 nights there. I got out of there on the 3rd day. So I spent the night with this guy, and he was perping me all night long. He had his TV on really loud. Had people come visit him, and they were saying some perpish things about my life and all this stuff. It was total perp job. But they had the nurses involved in all this stuff. They were playing out skits with the nurse. This guy was. They played out a skit where it said, he was saying something like, I need to go to the psych ward because I'm a heroin addict. If I get out of the hospital, I'm gonna go out there and do heroin and all this stuff. And the nurse was like, do you want to go over to the psych ward, which was across the street? It's a separate building, but it's owned by the same, it's all owned by the same place. And he's like, I don't know if I want to go over to the psych ward, and and I'm gonna get out there, I'm gonna use heroin. I don't know what the skit was about. I mean, that's what the skit was about, but why were they doing that skit? I don't know. But the nurses were involved. They were in there checking this guy every half hour, to keep me up, make sure I didn't sleep. They left me alone, but they were checking him every hour. You know, going in there, checking his blood pressure, uh, you know, doing all this stuff to him, you know, and it was all skit, you know, I don't know if it was rehearsed, but it was all scripted. You know, it was all to keep me up. I was up for 3 days, and after my heart attack, it was stressful. You know, they were banging. The nurses were banging. They were causing me all kinds of stress. You know, these people don't care. They don't care. You know, I mean, they don't care. You know, why are they like this in my program? I have no idea. I was trying to figure that out today. You know, which leads me to what happened today. Okay, so my relative was off today, and she's like, I want to go drive by a house. Actually, it was 2 houses on the same property. It was like 50 acres. And so I'm like, all right, you know, we'll go drive by a house. I drove her car, and I'm not going to go into detail, but they were doing some pretty scary things to me while I was driving on the freeway. Alright, so usually when they do stuff, there's cops around. You know, so I'm driving and they're doing stuff to my head when I'm driving. Alright, I'm not gonna go into detail because I don't want them to do that to you guys. You know, okay, so driving on the freeway and all this stuff, and I'm sitting here, they're hitting me. I'm sitting here looking around, you know, looking in my mirrors, looking in the rear view mirror, looking in the side mirror. I'm like, where's, you know, is there a cop around? You know, I mean, usually they have people around when they hit me like that. You know, so we're cruising down the freeway, and here we go. There was an undercover, plainclothes cop in a Suburban. He was a cop because he had the spotlight on there, and he was looking at the computer, in his vehicle. He was sitting on the side of the road, you know, so, they do that sometimes. They do things to me sometimes where I'll see 5 cops. You know, if I'm going for a ride or something like that around town, and they're hitting me hard, I'll see like 5 cops around, you know. There's usually, when they hit me like that, there's usually police around. You know, so that brings me to another question. I mentioned a few videos back, that I think these guys are being watched. I think wherever they are, I bet you $100 there's cameras in that house, where they're hitting you with weapons. You know, remember, they're not at an air base, you guys, like people say. They're not hauling around a supercomputer. They have a government computer that's a desktop or a laptop that's hooked up to the supercomputer, and there's software on there, you know, and there's they do have remotes, you know. I've seen one of them when I was in the hospital. You know, the fake nurse was using it. You know, they let me see that. So they're not at an airbase doing this crap. You know, they're in a house, probably not by you. They probably start off doing it right by you, but then they move. Like in my program, they started doing it close by, and now I don't know where they are now. You know, they're somewhere in town, but they're not hauling around a supercomputer in the back of a pickup and, you know, hauling the big thing in, and, you know, that's not happening. You know, these supercomputers are hidden somewhere. They're hidden somewhere, you know, and they have a government computer, like a desktop, or a laptop, probably a desktop. I'm guessing they have 3 screens, maybe. They can tell your vital signs. You know, they can tell your heartbeat. They can. How do they hit you in the heart? They gotta have a visual on a computer to hit a certain part of your heart. They gotta have a visual on hitting you in a certain part of the brain. You know, they're hitting you with a frequency to cause behaviorals, but they're also hitting a certain part of the brain. You know, they're not just hitting, you know, all over the place. They're hitting a certain part of the brain to cause rage, to cause love. They can make you lovey-dovey. They can do all this stuff. There's gotta be a visual of your body, you know, or something, so they can see what part of the. You know, I mean, it's so. What's the word I'm looking for? It's so. I mean, they can hit the hairs in my ears. It make my ears itch. You know, I mean, that's how right on it is, or whatever you want to say. You know, they make my ears itch all the time. They hit the hairs in my ears. You know, I mean, they can hit any part of your body. There's gotta be a visual. They gotta be having 2 to 3 screens up where they can see part of your body and hit every part of your body. You know, gotta be. So they have a government computer there that's mobile, that's hooked up to the supercomputer with software. They gotta have software on there, you know, to do all this stuff. You know, maybe they have a base close by you, you know, like a base, you know, some kind of whatever. But they're somewhere in town. I mean, I know they can do it miles away and all this stuff, but you know, they gotta have 2 or 3 screens they're looking at. I mean, to, you know, hit your hairs in your ears, to hit your eyes, to hit certain parts of your brain. You know, they gotta have a, you know, it's gotta be up on the computer. You know, are they using a joystick? Possibly. I mean, they used to scroll through it, which, you know, sounded like they were scrolling through frequencies. When I was getting V2K, you know, and stuff. So anyway, but they were doing some scary things when I was driving today, and there was a cop. I was looking for that cop, and he was there. I was, you know, they were doing some scary things, and usually there's a police officer around, and there he was. He was undercover, plain clothes. But he was a blacked out Suburban, and he had a spotlight on there, you know, and he was on there looking at the computer, you know. I'm not saying he was hitting me. He was just looking at his police computer when I drove by, you know. So my next question is, okay, I think these guys are being watched. I think they're watching these guys do drugs. I think they're watching them do everything. You know, drinking like a fish. You know, being an asshole. You know, I think these guys. I think they're being watched doing everything, whether they want to admit it or not. They're being watched. You know, they don't care about me. All right, so they'd probably like to see me get in a car accident. You know. So who's calling the police and sending the police? Is it an agency? Because it sure in hell ain't these guys. Because they don't care about you at all. You know, they don't care. So obviously they're being watched and by somebody, and they know what's going on, and they're saying, hey, we need a police car on the side of the freeway because he's being hit. You know, so then there was a police car there, waiting. I passed him, you know, undercover, plain clothes, tinted out, blacked out, The Suburban was kind of I don't know, it was kind of tan, but the windows were all blacked out, and I seen the guy in there on the computer, you know. So they will do that when they hit me super hard and hit me in certain ways, mind control, um, heterodynaming me, you know, because they can jerk your arm, they can make you press on the gas. You know, people don't think they can do that. They can do that. You know, I mean, they could try to get you to, you know, run into a brick wall. You know, so you know, and Duncan talks about that too, even. You know, you know, but you know, so that's what they did to me today. You know, so somebody out there is, uh, you know, saying, well, we need some cops around, um, make sure nothing happens or whatever. You know, like I say, these guys they'll try to do everything to you. You know, they don't care about you. You know, they don't. These psychos, they don't care. They don't care. You know, so you know, so there was a cop around today. When we went for a ride because they were hitting me pretty good when I was driving and stuff. So they did it, you know. They do all kinds of stuff, you know. So anyway, I thought I'd tell you guys about that. Somebody else mentioned a comment about the MK Ultra. Yeah, they from the research that I've done in the hearings and stuff like that, surviving victims got $250,000 a piece in their families, and so I didn't mean, you know, people that didn't survive, but I think their families did receive something. You know, I know some people didn't make it through that program and stuff. There was that famous tennis player, didn't make it through. I can't remember his name, but anyway, I'm gonna cut this off, you guys. It was an interesting day. You know, I get hit. The way I've been getting hit all week is I have to wake up really early. Like today, they woke me up at 20 to 6, and I was up for a few minutes. I tried to get back to bed, just wasn't happening. They won't let me get back to sleep. So then they manipulate me, remote near monitor me. You know, like I said before, they will I'll try to get back to sleep, and they will put falsified memories of my past. It could start off as a real memory, but then it'll turn into a falsified memory. They kind of build a story on it. I mean, it's harassment, basically, but it's torture, because it's repetitive. You know, so it is torture, but it's harassment, you know, too. You know, so they harass me. They'll make my feet itch, so I can't get to sleep. You know, make my feet itch for a long time. You know, that's their name of the game. Once I'm up, once they wake me up or whatever, or the dogs wake me up, I'm up. You know, I try to get back to sleep, and they'll nail me when I'm sleeping, and just constantly harass me with remote neural manipulation, remote neural monitoring, you know, which is torture. It's in harassment. So that's how I've been getting it all week. And tomorrow will be 8 days. If I get hit tomorrow, you know, today's the 7th day in a row. And it's been going on from anywhere from 12 to 18 hours a day. You know, they'll start at 6 in the morning, and they'll go till midnight until I go to bed. You know, I'm not getting hit right now, you know, but I was getting hit earlier. I get hit around my family members, you know. They validate the technology. You know, in my program they use ESP. Todd Giffen talks about that. I'm not going to go into that. You guys can do some research on that, but I believe that through a stream of energy or something, that your perps can see kind of your thoughts. I'm not sure how they're doing it. You know, sometimes they'll do forced speech on me, and the perps will bang. Well, they're either doing forced speech on me, putting thoughts into me, and they're putting thoughts into the perp, and the perp bangs. That's one way. You know, they could be doing it that way, or it could be ESP, where the perp is seeing your thoughts. I know it sounds crazy, but Dr. Duncan even said they have real ESP, and Todd Giffen talks about that. They do the same thing in his program, except they whistle. They whistle in his program when they validate. They bang in my program when they validate. You know, so you know, this stuff is crazy. You know, some people want to believe it and they'll try to discredit us. You know, certain TIs. You know, but do your research. Anyway, I'm going to cut this off, you guys. So you guys have a good night, and thanks for the questions and comments and stuff. And I'll probably disable them again for a while, you know, until I don't hear from the perps. But so anyway, I'm going to cut this off, and I'll talk to you guys later. You guys have a good night.